Look, my objective is to give, I guess, 4 key messages today around Aurelia Metals, and hopefully next year I can build on those messages. Point 1 is we're actively transitioning from a gold to a base metals company with dominance in copper over the coming years. We still have gold in our portfolio, and that's actually a good time for us because it's a time where we can use the gold revenue to fund our transition, which is fantastic. And obviously, it's also at a time when copper is on the move, on the increase, and so we're obviously going to enterprise on that as well as a company. The second point I'd like to point to sort of leave you with is that we're a company in the Cobar region that has a plant capacity of between 1.2 to 1.3 million tonnes, and with our existing operations and projects coming online, it does create options for us going forward. And so we actually have the options that I'll talk about in the presentation to show you to fill those mills, doubling the current capacity we're producing in that region right now. We do produce 5 different metals, and I'll talk to those very soon, and they're all metals that are required for decarbonisation and urbanisation and electrification. So effectively, we believe we're in the right market to enterprise on the growing demand into the future as we set our business up for growth. Third point I want to talk about is obviously Aurelia Metals is not a household name in the West. It's a Cobar-based sort of organisation at the moment with tier 1 sort of jurisdiction. It's got good exploration leases. It's good for developing in terms of the deposits we're working on, and it's actually very good for operating as well, for attracting and retaining people. And so I'll talk about that soon as well. There's a lot of activity happening in the Cobar region, and obviously working with the councils, the stakeholders, the landowners, it's actually a jurisdiction that I think has got a lot to come in the future as well as the region grows. And lastly, the fourth point I'll leave you with is really that we've delivered strong results over the last 12 months, and there's more to come. And we're really determined to deliver operations excellence at our business by really building a culture of high performance. There's lots of green shoots in the organisation already where people are performing really, really well, as we just heard from some of the results for last year. And to me, we've got the infrastructure, we've got the geological prospectivity, which I'll talk about, and effectively having the right culture and the right performance is really going to set us apart from our peers. Just a standard disclaimer, forward-looking statements. FY24 has really been a focus of building our delivery credibility and with our investors and our employees, and it's been a state of getting our peak operations, which is our sort of cornerstone operation, operating well and reducing unit costs to develop the cash we can use to build our business. The second thing, obviously, which has been a highlight in the 2024, has been that we've actually been able to start our development project, which is Federation, and I'll talk more about that soon, but obviously heading towards first stope ore in this quarter, FY25. And generally it's been positive on the basis of good metal prices as well, has obviously helped a lot. One of the highlights, obviously, for FY24, we delivered guidance on all of our metals and also on our costs, and we've been able to keep our business within our original budget for the project, which is Federation project I'll talk to. Lastly, if you look at the sort of the cash situation, we've come up with a good cash balance at the end of the year, 116.5 million, and we have a loan note to draw down if we need to, and we have 150 million in liquidity. So we're in a good situation considering where we are in our growth journey, in our operational journey as well. Key takeaways, we are currently debt-free and well funded to deliver our operations and our growth going into the next phase of our business. As we're in the west of Australia, I thought I'd introduce our team, since most of them are generally seen on the east of Australia. So you've got myself, Martin Cummings. Martin's worked in Evolution, Newcrest and Lihir Gold. Andrew's our Chief Development and Technical Officer. He's had experience obviously in Aurelia for a couple of years. Also MMG, Oz Minerals, Inifex and BHP. Rochelle's our General Counsel in COSEC. She's from Stanmore Coal, Energex and Glencore. Angus is ex-Rio Tinto North Parks and has been the General Manager of our Dargues gold operation, which is coming to a close this quarter and being promoted now to our Cobar Regional General Manager. And Susan, our People and Culture Manager, has worked at Geo-Pacific Resources, St Barbara and Xstrata. So quite a good cross-section of diverse skills and backgrounds in our team, which I really think is setting us up for the future in terms of what we need to achieve as a company. We also have a really diverse, strong board supporting us in our journey as well, which have been a great steer for us to date. So, where are we and what do we do? So we're actually, if you look at the mapping where we are, we're in the Cobar region. We've sort of got a number of important geological structures around us. Between our north and south, it's about 100 kilometres. And you can see on the map, Federation and Great Cobar, there's about 100 kilometres between those two areas. In terms of talking about Peak, it's our sort of cornerstone asset. It has a 800,000 kilotonne polymetallic processing plant. So it basically processes all of our target ores that we sort of produce. It's in very close proximity to the Cobar region of about 10 kilometres away, which has all the services we need. And it's obviously well powered by grid power. You know, it's got airports, schools, state highways, and train railway system as well. So we're in a very good location. And obviously looking forward with Peak, we are transitioning from our south mine to the north mine, which is predominantly moving from a lead zinc to a copper gold transition over the coming years. Great Cobar lies just to the north of Peak, closer to the town of Cobar. It's actually a very historic mine. It actually was in the 1870s and closed at the start of the First World War. And effectively, it's a 8.4 million tonne resource, 2.1% copper, and it's got some gold as well. It's already got a permit, and our development consent has been granted, and so we are just going through the final FID process at the moment, firming up some technical requirements and looking at taking that to decision this year. If you move to the south of the map, where our Federation operation is, it's obviously a project right now I'll talk to, 600,000 tonnes capacity, and it's with a 4 million tonne production target, and we have a Hera processing plant which is on care and maintenance right next door to it at the moment as well. And then we have obviously Nymagee, which I'll talk to, which is a 1.9 million tonne resource at 2.2% copper. So in this region we have a lot of what we need, and we're going after that to build a business. So this is our roadmap. First of all, our focus has been to get our Peak operation up and running properly, stabilise it, get the unit cost down, and get our sort of hours, our rates, our performance working like it should to good standards, and removing inefficiencies. We've built a regional model now, so we have a group, the regional general manager who looks after the region and consolidating all the activities, one management team, focusing on maximising value through our mills and making some synergies of contracting partners and equipment and so forth is done well. We are there at the start, at the point now where we're preparing for first stope ore at Federation, and then we'll have Federation ramping up from this quarter onwards for a period of time. We're doing our first FID for Great Cobar, and then we're looking at what's next in the pipeline. So we have a reasonably clear picture we have the geology, we have the infrastructure, and now with the right team, we believe we've got a successful story going forward. To make up some of those components, we're doing at a more detailed level in FY25, focusing very much on the FID work, focusing very much on optimising what we can through our processing facilities to see if we can get better recoveries, better throughputs, and obviously very much focusing on our first stope ore. And then into FY26, it's really about filling our mills. We have the 1.2 to 1.3 million tonnes capacity. That's what we're going after. Like I said, Peak is currently at 580,000 tonnes in FY24. We're really moving to double the capacity in this region. And our target is really to optimise this whole Cobar region and infrastructure to really get the maximum value out of it we can, because we believe there's a lot of prospectivity, the infrastructure is there, and we're just now getting the right sequence and the right investment process in place to make that happen. This is a photo I took a couple of weeks ago underground at Federation. So the photo, I'm not a photographer, you can see, but obviously the two tech services managers are in awe of the ore. What they're looking at is a stoping ore above us. This will be our first stope drive that we take in the mine. Obviously, that will happen in the coming months. As you can sort of see, that's the sort of quality of the ore. It's a 4.8 million tonne resource, 9% zinc, 5.4% lead, 0.3% copper, and some gold. Obviously, this ore body remains open at depth and along strike, and I'll show you some pictures soon. And we've been using a lot of the capital that we've got from our sale of our Dargues. Dargues shutting down, we've been using a lot of the capital, rather than buying stuff, we've been using a lot of the capital replacement out of Dargues. We're using equipment out of the Hera mine that closed down last year, and also out of Peak as well, to make sure we can become a really efficient and low capital build for this project. This is just for the underground enthusiasts in the room. Obviously, the yellow is what we've developed, and the grey is what needs to be developed. And you sort of see the core to the right-hand side. I really wanted to call out, that's 7.4 metres at 33% zinc, 13% lead, and 8.9 grams per tonne gold. So obviously, that hole has been drilled in the area where we're going to do our stoping. And so this is obviously what's ahead of us as we build this mine. All the shafts have been done, ventilation's in place. The surface works are nearly finished in terms of our ROM stockpile areas. All our dams are built in terms of on the surface of the mine. There's still some other water dams to be finished, and our roads have been upgraded. And so really, we'll be getting first stope ore and getting ready for our full operations, ramping up over the next 12 months. So it's exciting for the company to do this. Just a bit more information on the Federation ore deposit. We've obviously chosen yellow because it's really easy to see. But, you know, as I mentioned, the grade of the deposit is there. We talked about. If you look at some of the call-outs on the target boxes inside the picture, there's one which is on the far left, right-hand side at the top. That was actually a recent result that we announced to the market. It had 4.6 metre interval at 33.9% zinc, 20% lead, 1.6% copper, and 38 grams per tonne of silver. So this particular federation has got a lot to offer, and we're really excited to be able to unlock this in the near term and get this business up and running. Great Cobar, as I mentioned, is NFID at the moment. We're taking it to the final technical review in the background. It's going to be an amazing deposit. It was actually mined, like I said, in the grey box at the top. The grey area at the top of the slide is actually the previous workings. It's got potential significant depth extensions, and there's obviously some emergence of some high gold concentrations in those sort of numbers as well. It does remain open both to the side, underneath, and even above it as well. And like I said, our exploration focus will be in earnest. Once we get the FID and approval to go forward, we will actually be getting close as possible and doing a lot of infill drilling to see what's underneath there, and also to prove up the sort of reserves for the stoping areas. This project has the benefit of being 7 kilometres from the Peak processing facility. It's also got the benefit of having a box cut already there, roads going into very close to the area in New Cobar, and obviously workshops and office facilities are all sitting on the surface ready to be used. So, like I said, and we have consent to actually to mine this. We just got to get the FID worked through to make sure it's the right business case we're going forward with. Recently, we also announced some information on our Nymagee exploration. This is what I see as potentially the next project in the pipeline. It's got some amazing assays that have come through. You can sort of see the highest zinc assays, 37.9%, copper at 13.4%, and some silver at 250 grams per tonne. So there's some big numbers in this deposit. It's about 5 kilometres from our Hera plant, which is the other end of the spectrum to the Peak plant. It's got multiple high-grade lenses we've identified as well. And really our focus in FY25 is to drill this out, put more time into this, and really unpack what's actually there for us to see what's beyond Great Cobar as far as a project pipeline is concerned. Once again, this was an old mine, mined in the 1900s, 1950s, 1970s, and we would obviously look at going around that. But effectively, the grades so far that we've reported have been very, very good, and more work to be done. So if I was to summarise key messages, where we're going and what we have, you've sort of seen a very brief view of, we have significant Cobar base and mineral resource of 26.1 million tonnes, and we're very highly prospective geology that you're very close to our infrastructure, and particularly our processing infrastructure. We have, like I said, the Great Cobar coming next. We have Nymagee. We released some information on Queen Bee a couple of months ago as well, very much high-grade copper also. We have the infrastructure and processing infrastructure of 1.2 to 1.3 million tonnes to use, and we have projects in the pipeline to fill that, and so we're going after it with earnest. Our Peak mine is transitioning to copper, dominant ores, as I mentioned, in the medium term, and we have multiple mines to provide the ore source options we actually have between both Hera and Peak processing facilities. Our first ore is high grade, coming out of Federation, will be in Q1 FY25, which is exciting as a company to have that transition now into that business of another operation coming in. And as you've sort of seen from the couple of slides up front, we have the balance sheet and the liquidity to build these business going forward through the results of FY24 on delivering cash to build our business. So at the moment, I feel quite comfortable. We have a very good roadmap. We have a very clear plan going forward. We can do this in a sustainable way. We can do it with building the right culture with people. And you know, our purpose is to be a developer and operator of choice for base metals that power the future. So I believe we're on track to deliver that purpose as well. So thank you very much.